Hey guys, I'm just going to do a quick video here. This one's by myself again. Mary actually didn't want to be a part of this because of the subject matter. Ugh, jeez. Because of the subject matter. Um, this is for a giveaway that StormGames is doing for a Blackout Ant-Man um, Summer Convention exclusive Funko Pop. And the question was, what are your top five Marvel movies? And they specified it does not have to be Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know, the Marvel Studios, Disney run, interconnecting, universe that they have. It could be any movie with a Marvel character. So I'm actually going to start with there are so many. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not sure that everyone realizes just how many there actually are. So I'm actually going to start with I'm not sure what, maybe I'll call it the B side. Okay, these are the movies that are not my top five favorites, but I just want to mention them because no one will, and I think a lot of people probably either don't know they exist or are not probably are not familiar with them, or will it's just fun to make fun of them. Okay, okay. So the B side, the runners up, not even runners up, but the also rans. How about that? Number we'll call this number 100. Howard the Duck from 1985 or 86, I think. Oh God. It was such a bad movie. It's one of those movies that's almost so bad it's good. It's a comedy. It's a ridiculous premise. It's a you know it's I mean it's a ridiculous premise in the comic books. It's a ridiculous premise in real life. When actually being adapted to a movie. Um, it's a duck from another dimension where animals are the people. Um, Now, I'm pretty sure that Peter Porker, Spider-Ham, was also from the same universe as Howard the Duck, but I'm not positive about that one. Um, so yeah, it's and he comes to Earth. It's a bad movie. It's um, the special effects are all 80s, practical effects, which sometimes can be done very well, and other times cannot are not. Um, the Next, I actually do like this one. Is The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. I want to say it was from '94, somewhere. It was early to mid '90s. This movie came out. I actually really like it. Honestly, I'm telling you the truth. I like the Dolph Lundgren's Punisher movie better than any of the modern Punisher movies that have been made in this century. I like it better than the Thomas Jane Punisher movie, um, and I like it better than Punisher Warzone. Not that those are horrible movies. I really like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. It is a cheesy classic 80s, early 90s Hollywood action movie, which is what the Punisher is. So, and Dolph Lundgren's just awesome. I mean, if you don't love Dolph Lundgren, then you just don't love stupid, mindless 80s action movies. Um, Universal Soldier, awesome. Rocky 4, awesome. Punisher is right up there with it. Okay, another bad also ran um, would be Roger Corman's version of the Fantastic Four. This is kind of cheating because I don't think it actually was ever well, it wasn't ever officially released. I think there might have been like a direct to video release at some point, but maybe not. Um, I had it on VHS that I bought at a comic store. It was like a bootleg, so that may have been the only way it was ever actually released. Oh my God. I mean, the two 21st century Fantastic Four movies were horrible. I mean they were god awful. I haven't seen the one that starts today yet, obviously, but so far the reviews have been mixed at best. uh, but all of them looks like Casablanca compared to Roger Corman's. I mean it's I want to say it was done in like 93, 94, somewhere around that time. The costumes are cheesy. I mean, there's no good actors in it. Um, the script is just wonky. But the best part of it is the special effects. For like their practical effects from like Roger Corman style. And like just to give you an example, I'm pretty sure that for Mr. Fantastic, the way that they did it is they like put a glove on the end of a broom to make his arm stretch, make it look like, and had it like inside of a sleeve, and did that. I'm pretty sure that's something similar to that is how they made Mr. Fantastic. I mean, it's just such a bad movie. It's so bad. It's not even one of those so bad it's good movies. It's one of those so bad that it's not good, but it's can be fun to watch just to laugh at how bad it is. It's one of those things like the Star Wars Holiday Special from 1978, which if you've never seen the Star Wars Hollywood Special, I know it's not a Marvel movie. Well, technically it could be because back in 1978, Marvel was publishing the official Star Wars comic book. Uh, so I'll mention that one too. I'll throw that in here. The Star Wars Hollywood Special, excuse me, Holiday Special. The first 20 minutes, the whole thing surrounds a Wookiee holiday called Life Day, and it takes place on Kashyyyk, which is the Wookiee homeworld. And the first 20 minutes of it are Chewbacca and his father and his wife and his son. His son's name is Lumpy. His wife's name is Itchy. No, I'm sorry. Maybe that's his father's name is Itchy. Yeah, I mean, it's bad. Yeah, because I think his wife's name is like Nala or something like that. Anyway, the first 20 minutes of the movie is literally a family of Wookiees growling at each other. No subtitles or anything. They're just for 20 minutes. Then there is a musical performance by Jefferson Starship, complete with the 1978 era light show and the weird little effects that they would do that were like state of the art in 1978. It was just, oh gosh, it was horrible. But it was better. The Jefferson Starship performance was better than B. Arthur's role as a singing bartender. And if you've never heard B. Arthur sing, count yourselves lucky. I mean, you've heard her talk, I'm sure. Now imagine that as a singing voice. I mean, the Star Wars Holiday Special is horrible. Roger Corman's Fantastic Four is that bad. um, so the oh, there was one other I wanted to mention in this category. I mean, I could basically say pretty much all of Sony Spider-Man movies. I'll take back. I take that back. Amazing Spider-Man, the first one with Andrew Garfield, I actually liked. I actually really liked Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker and as Spider-Man, and it's a shame that he kind of got dropped. He kind of became a casualty of Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was, oh God, just horrible. I usually like Jamie Foxx, but he just ruined that movie. I mean, it wasn't his fault, I guess, because the script was bad, but I mean, just everything about Amazing Spider-Man 2 was horrible. It might actually have managed to be worse than Spider-Man 3, which was, jeez, cringeworthy. So anyway, on to the actual question, now that I'm about 10 minutes into this video. Top 5 Marvel movies, favorite 5 Marvel movies. It's hard to pick 5. And once I was able to narrow it down to 5, there's just no way I could determine which ones I like the most and which one, I've been a fan of comic books and comic book movies for almost 30 years now. Um, I There's no way I can put these in any real order. I will say these are my top 5. Avengers Age of Ultron. A lot of people liked the first Avengers better. I liked Age of Ultron. The Vision was always one of my favorite characters. Scarlet Witch is one of my favorite characters. Um, Quicksilver is kind of a douchebag in the comics, and he died at the end of this, so I loved that part of it. Spoiler, by the way, if you haven't seen Age of Ultron yet, sorry. Um, I love Age of Ultron. Avengers also is up there. I'm going to lump those two together just so I can fit more movies into this top 5. Age of Ultron I prefer over Avengers, but I like them both. Um, X2, X-Men United. I love X2. Of all the X-Men movies, this one is my favorite. The opening scene with Nightcrawler. I went and saw this in the theater on opening night, and when Nightcrawler shows up in that opening scene, my mind was blown. I fell in love with that movie, and it didn't go down from there, you know, all the way through to the ending and bringing up the Phoenix Force with Jean Grey, and showing the little Dark Phoenix. Even though they really screwed the pooch in the next movie where they had the Dark Phoenix, they really, you know, royally screwed that up. That whole saga was it was X3 was just a mess. But X2, the way that they set it up was awesome, awesome movie. Which also leads me to some of the other movies in the X-Men series. X-Men First Class, I loved. I felt that even though I loved the original X-Men movie, the X-Men First Class I actually prefer because it um, it made more sense as an origin story, if that makes sense. You know, I love Patrick Stewart as Professor X. I think that was one Patrick Stewart. Quite frankly, I feel that Patrick Stewart was almost born to play the role of Professor X, or vice versa. Professor X was born to be Patrick Stewart's role. But anyway, um, the First Class and Days of Future Past, the guy who plays Professor X does a great job. I do kind of, even though it's not faithful to the comics, I like that they kind of made Professor X, you know, a little bit younger. You know, they made him a little bit more contemporary with those original X-Men. Um, I'm real curious to see what's going to happen in Apocalypse. Okay, so far we've got, well, technically that's 5, but we're going to lump a couple of them together in just whichever way you want, and then cause I do want to add 2 others. Guardians of the Galaxy is just a great movie. It is just a fantastic movie. The fact that it takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is secondary, um, because even though it is going to connect, it hasn't connected yet to any of the other movies, and these are not characters. So when you view these are not characters that people are familiar with. They're not characters that are brought up in other parts of the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet. So when you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, it's almost like going in fresh to just a good, high quality sci-fi comedy. I mean, it has everything. You know, it's just a great movie. And then so that has to be in there. And then Captain America: Winter Soldier. I really like that because to me that is kind of like Avengers 1.5. You know, if you after Avengers, you can kind of skip Thor. I personally I liked the first Thor movie, but it wasn't anywhere high enough to make this list. Um, the second Thor movie I haven't even bothered to see. Not a big fan of the Thor movies. And really, you can kind of skip Thor 2 a little bit. Um, After Avengers, Captain America, Winter Soldier, it has half the squad. It introduces, some of the other folks that become part of uh, the Avengers at the end of Age of Ultron. So, those two, it really fits in. To me, it fits in the best. It's the most relevant to this ongoing storyline that's taking place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, let's say top five, Age of Ultron, X2, Days of Future Past, Guardians of the Galaxy, Winter Soldier. Um, with honorable mentions to X-Men First Class and the original Avengers, the first Avengers. Alright. So anyway, I know this video got really long. Obviously, I have a lot to say. I really like these movies. I'm a huge fan of just movies in general, huge fan of comic books in general. And, you know, um, in terms of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, when I was a kid collecting comics, it was the Avengers, it was Captain America, it was Hulk, it was Iron Man. These are the books that I was into. So the fact that I'm seeing all of them brought to, I mean, I was not a big X-Men fan when I was growing up. I liked them. I would pick up an occasional X-Men book, but I didn't follow the books regularly. I never subscribed to X-Men. I had Avengers and Avengers West Coast and Hulk and Iron Man and Captain America. Those all came to my house every month in the mail, you know. So I love that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is really running with the books I collected. Um, but I did want to bring in, a lot of these other movies that are made from Marvel Comics that aren't part of the universe too, because they do deserve some mention, I think. Anyway, I think I'm rambling now, so thanks a lot for the giveaway, guys. Hopefully people will enjoy this video for more than just the giveaway. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.